Right, drivers and travellers. This is quite a big topic actually, and one that I'm very interested in. We have the natural right to travel. It's a natural right, like breathing. We have legs, so we can travel, and we can travel in any manner we see fit. Okay, that is our natural right. It can't be taken away from us. Okay, by government, by anybody. Okay. What has happened though, the government, which has authority to deal with commerce, it can regulate commerce, we've given it that power. What it's done has offered us a privilege to become something they call a driver, which comes under their purview. Okay. Now, a driver is somebody who acts in commerce, who does commerce upon the road. The Road Traffic Act, for instance, the word traffic, if you look it up in a legal dictionary, means commerce. I mean, drug trafficking, it's buying and selling. So if you look at the Road Traffic Act, it actually says the Road Commerce Act. So do you think that applies to you when you're on the road? I don't think so. So if you're acting in commerce, if you're a taxi driver or a lorry driver, yes, you're a driver. But if you're getting in your car to go from A to B, from your house to the shops, you're not driving, you're traveling. Yeah, you're not acting in commerce. You're not acting as an employee of the government. Okay? The evidence of you being an employee of the government or acting in commerce is your driving license, which isn't a certificate of competency, which people, mistakenly think it is, because whenever you ever signed a certificate, when you get your swimming certificate, do you sign it? No. When you get your A-level certificate, do you sign that? No. Somebody else signs it. You've signed a contract. You've signed a contract to waive your right, which is the only way you can lose it, your right. If you voluntarily waive it, yeah, you've signed away your right to travel on land, and for the benefit, privilege of being a driver, and that allows you to do commerce on the road. Yeah, when you get so-called tax for your car is I think the acronym is PLG, Private Light Goods. What's that? Do you regularly transport light goods when you go to the shops or whatever? No, you're not acting in commerce. So the whole thing's commercial. I think if you look at the legal definition of driver, it's somebody who's employed to operate a motor vehicle or a vehicle. The word operate also is commercial, operator, like a travel operator. Yeah, all the words that we use in connection with driving are commercial. The word vehicle, for instance, as well, it actually means a contrivance, any mechanical contrivance for the transportation of goods or passengers. You look at the word transportation in a legal dictionary, again, it's a commercial activity. Yeah, a passenger is somebody who travels for paying a fare. Okay, so it's all commercial, and as soon as you agree that you're acting in commerce, then the government has powers to deal with you, to regulate you, to fine you. So yeah, that's the difference.
So am I allowed to drive then if I don't have a driving license?
When you say no, you're not allowed to drive, because as I said, to drive is to act in commerce. If you want to travel in your automobile, yes, you've got every right, because that's your right to travel. Because you're not driving, you're traveling. Yeah, unless you want to put on a little cap and start carrying passengers for money, right? Then you're driving. You're doing commerce. You're getting money for it. Yeah, but if you're going to the shops or whatever, yeah, going to work even, that's not commerce. Yeah. You're just travelling.
That's amazing. Never heard that before. No.
Yeah, you've not heard that before.
This is great why is James interviewing you, because he's coming from a, he knows a little bit about it, but he's coming in from a fresh pair of eyes, and I was thought that'd be good for him to interview because,
All right.
Because that's what we're trying to get across to the viewers.
It's very tricky because when you try and talk to the DVLA, they will use their legal language, and it sounds like they're being plausible. You say, oh yeah, I'm just travelling. They'll come back and say, look, drivers need to be licensed. Drivers need this and that, but I'm not a driver. Drivers need to be this, that, and the other. You need a license. If you're a driver, you need this, that. But I'm not a driver, and I'll just keep drilling that into you because they can't actually admit that you're not. They have to keep the game going. Okay. One of my friends, Norman Hinks, has done a freedom of information request with the DVLA. And got them to admit, you can go on the web and find it, got the DVLA to admit that the right to travel still exists. But immediately after, the next paragraph says, but if you're driving a motor vehicle, then you need this, that, and the other. So anybody who's not well read will read that and say, well, yeah, this right to travel does exist, but no, actually I need to have a license and because it sounds like this is what, but if you really read it, it's saying that, yeah, you've got the right to travel, but if you want to be a driver, you need this, which is true.
It's a trickery, isn't it?
It's trickery, it's deception.
To make you think, because you think you're a driver, and he said, are you the driver? And you go, yes, I'm the driver.
Now
you've contracted then, haven't you?
Exactly, you're now admitting.
Are they able to put people in prison who
Because you let them. You put that overcoat on and they drag you. There's a guy online called David Goins who was, he'd been drinking and he had no tax, insurance, MOT, blah, blah, blah. He got pulled and he'd been drinking, he admitted it. And they had him in the nick and they had to let him go without charge because he didn't contract with them one little bit. When I got stopped, I had a passport, an old passport in my glove compartment, and they were able to get a contract from that passport because it had the fictional name in there, and they deemed that it was Joinder. But a long story there.
Can you go in a little bit about Joinder?
Okay.
I know it's hard just to jump straight into the middle of it.
Yeah.
But maybe is there any way you can sort of package it up in like about a minute or?
Yeah, sure. Joinder is a process of linking you to this fictional name. It's putting that overcoat on for that, making that sort of connection, identifying yourself. The word identify legally means to make the same as. So as soon as you identify yourself, you make yourself the same as this fictional corporation. So once that you've actually joined this fictional corporation, now they can grab that and do what they like with it. They can put you in prison, they can fine it, they can do what they need to do with it. They're very tricky as well with motor vehicle, especially. Motor vehicle, if you look at their definition in Road Traffic Act, says a mechanically propelled vehicle. It uses the word vehicle in motor vehicle, yeah. Yes, a motor vehicle is a mechanically propelled vehicle adapted or intended for use on the road. Yeah.
It's quite a modern word, vehicle, isn't it?
Well, no, it's an old word. When you look into the definition, the legal definition of vehicle, again, it's a contrivance used for the transportation of goods or passengers. And then you have to break it down by looking at the definitions of each of the words in the definition. Yeah. So you follow the trail. You look at transportation, and it's something you're contracted to do to move one item from one port to another. Transport. So again, a commercial activity. So it's very when you look at the Road Traffic Act, it looks plausible. It looks like it covers everything. Even in the definition of motor vehicle, it's a mechanically propelled vehicle. If you know your grammar, which none of us do anymore, yeah, a is the indefinite article. It means that not all vehicles are motor vehicles. Yeah. Otherwise, it would be all mechanically propelled vehicles. You see, so it's very tricky. And one of the precepts that they work on is a legal maxim, which is let he who would be deceived be deceived. So it's legal for you to be deceived.